So this PowerPoint is just going to give you a brief rundown of the different types of cracks and chips that you might experience when you're fixing a windshield. And it'll just kind of explain some of the basic rules of fixing a windshield. So look out for the rules because they're going to be super important. So, okay, the first rule of fixing a windshield is
know your limits.
know your limits. What do you think that means?
I don't know.
It's kind of vague. So basically, just like speed limits on a car, there is a limit to the amount of repair we can do, right? So once you reach a certain point, you can't go any further, or else you could do more damage than fixing. Do more damage than good, let's say. So in order to avoid doing more damage to the car, the limit that we're going to go by is that most chips that can be totally covered by a quarter or that measure at about an inch across can be fixed at home. Chips bigger than that, like the giant ones, those probably need to be treated by a specialist. But if you can fix those little quarter-sized chips, you can save yourself up to $200 because that's about how much windshield repair costs. So yeah, you can fix the little ones, but just know your limits. Don't be too confident in the kit's ability. It's not the greatest. Okay, so rule number 2 is follow the instructions. So if you want to grab your kit, and we can just open it up right now. You can just peel it off right there. Thank goodness that came easily because I had no backup plan for pulling it off. Okay, yeah, that little paper is all we need right now. So this little paper, pretty much whenever you're going to do car maintenance, something that you're using to do the car maintenance will come with instructions. And this little paper is going to save your life if you ever forget anything or need a refresher because it has all the instructions super clear. But the number 2, or the top 2 instructions that we're going to focus on are always clean the chips and cracks before you repair them, and then always fix your windshield in a shaded area out of direct sunlight. So there is a stage in fixing the windshield where you want to expose your car to direct sunlight or to UV light, but that's after you've done the initial work on it with the little tool over here. So just whenever you're using this tool, no direct sunlight, try to do it in shade. We're doing it in the garage, so that's kind of a good way to do it. And then if you see that little brown paper right there, just grab that. So inside of here there's a razor blade and it's dual purposed. So what do you think we could use a razor blade for when fixing a chip?
I don't know.
So if we look through the instructions, tell me what the first thing you see about a razor blade, just looking through the instructions.
To remove those glass.
Yeah. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to take the edge of the razor blade and just kind of stick it into where the chip is to get any remaining glass out. Because once we start to seal the glass, we don't want any glass fragments or air bubbles or anything that could potentially reopen the break. We want to make sure it's completely filled by the resin. And then rule number 3, this is one I struggle with, be patient. I was like, I want to see if it's done already. I want to see if it's done already. And I took the contraption off too early. So just be patient. You have to do it a couple of times usually. It doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It just means the chip needs to be filled a little bit more. Don't get frustrated. It's pretty simple. So these are a couple of just little tips for you. If you break your windshield but you're not in a place where you can fix it right away, you don't have a kit, you're planning on going to BYU, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if you're driving back from school or driving down and you get a chip on the windshield and you're like, I packed my kit in my bag, like, I don't know where that bag is, it's somewhere in the back. Just try to avoid bumpy roads, washing your windshield, applying pressure to the glass. I know when I get a chip, the first thing I want to do is like scratch it from the inside. I don't know why. It's just like a tendency for me. And then direct sunlight. So that'll probably be one of the hardest ones to avoid. Is direct sunlight, especially if you're driving in the daytime. But avoid the rest of them as best you can. Is everything making sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so let's do a little test, a little quiz, if you will. It should be pretty simple. So question 1, most chips that can be covered with a blank can be fixed at home.
Quarter.
A quarter is correct. Why do we clean the windshield before we repair it?
So you get the little pieces of glass or air out so that the resin completely fills the glass.
Okay, and then what should we avoid between cracking and chipping our windshield and repairing it?
So I'm not quite sure. Like
Do you need me to clarify
the
the
bumpy
question?
roads.
Yeah.
That part.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. So bumpy roads, direct sunlight, washing your windshield, applying pressure.
You are going to be an expert at this. So there are a couple different types of chips and cracks and breaks. I think sometimes we think, oh, I chipped my windshield or I cracked my windshield. But there's